What's up, y'all? Today is Wednesday, December the 11th, 2019, and Isabella asked me about hearing the voice of God, and I shared with her an example this morning, but now I'm going to share with you the first time that I remember hearing the voice of God. It was on September 11th, 2001. Is when the terrorist that was annoying when the terrorist attacks happened. And as I'm sure you may know, maybe someone told you, but just in case you didn't, basically what happened is Islamic terrorists flew airplanes into the World Trade Center, and at that time I was working across the street from one of the towers, and your grandmother was working, my mother was working across the street from the other tower on the corner. And when the first plane hit, it hit right outside of my office window. So I remember everyone running towards the window and looking outside and seeing the smoke coming out of the tower from where the plane hit. And while most people were like, ooh, ah, I ran downstairs immediately to go look for your grandmother. And I run downstairs. I run around the building so that I can run towards her building. And I remember a car crashing like right in front of me. But whatever, I went around it. And I remember seeing white pieces of paper like flying down like little snowflakes. And I remember hearing sirens coming, etc. So I run to look for your grandmother, and I couldn't find her. And I stop on a corner, and I remember hearing people going like gasping, like, oh my God, oh. And people looking up at the building. So I look up at the tower, and I didn't see anything. And I say to this guy, I'm like, what is everyone looking at? He's like, you don't see that? People are jumping out of the building. So when I looked back up, I saw people jumping out of the window from the tower and falling down. You would see their bodies falling down, like slowly, and then, you couldn't see where they hit because it was behind buildings. I saw a couple of those. The one that stood out the most to me was I remember seeing this couple holding hands while they were, flying down. They held hands, I guess, to comfort each other. I don't know. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, I gotta find my mother. So I decided to head up the street from where my mother's building was, because I was like, maybe she already left and maybe she started heading to the train station. As I turn and I'm walking, I hear a sound that to this day I have never forgotten, and the sound was, and right above me, the second plane hit, and I looked up and I saw a fireball like just explode out above me like this. Is anyone there, Mike? Alright, Mike's friend is arriving.
I want to say hi, wait.
Yeah, alright, pause so that we can say hi to this kid. So, to continue the story, we have to pause because one of Michael's friends came in. So, again, I remember, and the second plane hit the second tower right above me, and I remember seeing a big fireball shoot out from the building, and I started running, and so did everyone. Everyone started running because all this debris started falling all over the place. And as I'm running, I see this guy next to me get hit in the head with, I don't know, a brick. I have no idea what it was, but I just kept running. And
did he die?
I'll get there. So I get to this newspaper stand, and I hide. Like at the time, the newspaper stand that was there had like this, it was a gate. So the gate would roll up, and since it rolled up, it rolled into this thing that would stay over. And I hid below that thing that captured all of the metal gate, right, until everything stopped. When it stopped, I walked back, and the guy who got hit in his head, he was laying in the street. I don't know if he was dead or not, but his head was, there, and there was blood all over him. And there was immediately, like, paramedics were around him, I guess, trying to save his life. So I don't know if he made it or not, but I just kept looking for your grandmother, and I couldn't find her. And here comes the story about hearing God's voice. So I'm looking for your grandmother, and now I walk or run back to, I think it was Broadway, and I remember reaching this crossroads, and before the crossroads, I remember running, and I accidentally run into this couple who were holding hands, and I accidentally separated their hands. And then the guy looks at me, and he looked like he wanted to fight me because he probably thought that I was, we just looked at each other, but then we knew like we're not the enemy. And he just kept going with his girlfriend or wife or whatever, and I kept looking for your grandmother. And I remember being at this crossroads, and someday when we're there, I'll show you and be like, you remember, Bella, I told you about the story? It was this place where all 4 streets met. And I'm standing there. And as you know about Daddy's a type A person. I'm usually in control of things. I usually have everything, in order and everything in control. And that was the first time in my life that I felt like I had no control whatsoever of anything. And I remembered at that moment, and at that time, I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't someone who was actively following God. But I had grown up in the Catholic Church. I had an understanding of God. I spoke, I would pray to God, but never really had a relationship with God at that time. But I had read the Bible, a few times because I was always interested in God. So I had read the Bible. I knew the Bible. And I remember standing at that corner, and I hear this voice say, if you ask in his name, it will come true or come to be, something like that. And it was a verse from the Bible, which is something to the effect of, if you ask in Jesus' name, if it's the will of God, it will be given to you. Those aren't the exact words, but that's what I was remembering at the time. I heard this voice say that. If you ask in his name, it'll happen. And then at the same exact time, I heard another voice say, yeah, but if it doesn't happen, you'll never believe again. I literally heard these 2 things. And I said to myself, no, I'm going to believe. So I closed my eyes and I say, in the name of Jesus, God, please help me find my mother. I can't right now. Please help me find her. And I literally open my eyes, and there's a sea of people walking towards me, like wearing black suits. And in this sea of people, there's this woman wearing a purple dress, and it was your grandmother. And I run towards her. I remember like the fire trucks, like, because I like ran around them, and like we see each other. She's like, Michael. I'm like, Ma. She hugs me. My son, my son, my son. Because that's how she speaks. My son, oh my God, thank you, Jesus, thank you, God, and all this stuff.
you said, Michael.
She said, Michael? Yeah, because that's how she says, Michael. I'm like, Ma. She's like, my son, oh, this is my son. And we start like walking very, very fast. And a couple of minutes later, the first tower fell. If I didn't find your mother, she may not be here, or not your mother, your grandmother. If I didn't find your grandmother, she may not be here today. I may not be here today. You may not exist, because, I think about this sometimes. If I didn't find your grandmother, I wasn't leaving that area until I found her. And I'm sure that she wouldn't have left that area until she found me. So one of us or both of us would have been there in the vicinity when the first tower fell. I could have been under the tower. She could have been under the tower looking for me when that first tower fell. And anyone under that tower when it fell did not survive. And if we were a block away and that tower fell, the debris from that tower covered at least 5 city blocks. So at the very least, we would have been covered in debris and soot. It could have led to breathing problems, cancer. A lot of people died from cancer because of the breathing stuff. So yeah, that we, thank God we found each other, because if we didn't, who knows what history would have become. After that, your grandmother and I were walking up Broadway, and I remember thinking to myself, by the time the second plane hit, everyone knew this wasn't an accident, this is an attack, right? And we're trying to listen to the radio, what's happening. And I remember thinking to myself, we got to get off this main street, because if it's an attack and if it's airplanes, I thought maybe it's like jet planes with guns. I was like, they could like fly over and shoot like all the people. So I was like, we got to get off this main road. So we make a left, And as we're walking to make a left, we find this bodega, this store, and we went in, to use the bathroom to get some water, and everyone was going to use the bathroom. And I remember, sorry.
Are you crying?
Oof. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. I see you. Don't lie.
This was a tough time. This was this was the worst. Well, this was the worst day of my life. I remember we come out the bodega and we could see the remaining tower that was there, and your mother standing next to me, and
My mother.
your grandmother. Your mother's such a part of my life that I'm always used to saying your mother. Your grandma was standing next to me, and we saw the second tower fall. Yeah. That was a very.
Did you cry?
I don't remember if I cried.
Oh.
I don't. I was traumatized by it. I was in shock.
Yeah.
And we walked from there for like 5 miles, I think, trying to get to the New Jersey side. And I remember when we finally found a boat to take us to the other side. When you arrived to the other side of Jersey, there was like these army people, and they all had hazmat suits on.
Where has
Hazmat, like, nuclear suits, so that way, like, if there's anything, debris or anything that's unhealthy, they wouldn't have it on their skin. And when we got off the boat, you had to you had to walk underneath these portable showers, which would like rinse off, I guess, any debris on you or something. And we took a train, because the train used to stop, believe it or not, used to stop like right here. You know that train stop that's across the street? We used to use that train to go to work, your grandmother and I. Yeah, it's no longer working. So we took the train here. I remember no one spoke on the train. Everyone was quiet. Right, there was like, everyone was just in shock, like we were just all quiet. And your grandmother and I came up here, and another thing that I'll share with you too, a couple of days after that is when I guess I became a Christian, because I remember being in my bedroom, which is now your bedroom, and I was watching Charles Stanley, Billy Graham, who knows who the hell it was.
Billy Graham?
Some Christian pastor on TV. And I remember it wasn't the first time that I had heard them do these altar calls and giving your life to Jesus and all that stuff. But I think I remember saying to myself that I had never done that. I had never given my life to Jesus in the way that these Christian pastor people are talking. And in that room, I decided, to do it. It was sometime after 9/11. And part of it was because of the voice thing, because I heard, people who don't understand what I'm talking about would say he's crazy or something. But I heard two voices, one on this side, one on that side. And there's the answer to your question about hearing God's voice. That's how it is. It's, like this morning, I heard his voice again. And it's just, you hear it. And it's not you because it's distinct from you. It's like something talking to you, and it's in here. And today's the voice was, again, in conclusion, a new manager in my office. Thought he was going to be challenging. He's actually going to be very good. But I remember...
Can I meet him?
Huh?
Can I meet him?
Yeah, sure. Next time you visit the office. And I heard God's voice say, I've been preparing you for this. So you'll see. When you hear it, you'll know it. Because you'll know it. And it's pretty cool. That's my story.
You guys excited for Michael's story?
Say what?
Are you excited for Michael's story?
Excited for Michael's story.
Yeah.
The Christian story? What story?
Michael's story.
Michael's story?
After he goes to camp.
Oh.
Yo.
Yeah, when he goes to STU?
SCU.
STU? You gotta get on my steak.
Good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Well, you know, hoping he has a good experience. The last thing I'll share with you guys is the trauma from 9/11. Since I'm talking about it, I'll include it in this recording. After 9/11, I met this girl. She was kind of a survivor. I didn't meet your mother. This was long before you.
Long before.
You're like, huh? Yeah, you weren't even an idea. I wasn't even thinking about having kids at that time. I was dating at the time.
Ew.
Yeah, well, it's about to get iller. No, I'm just kidding.
For real?
Well, here, let me tell you the story. So I start dating this girl, and we go to Atlantic City with your grandfather, because I had met your grandfather at this time and his girlfriend at the time, and
At the time.
yeah, we're all, you know, in this room, and all of a sudden, like just out of nowhere, I hear the plane. And I swore that the plane was gonna crash into us. So I start grabbing this girl and I throw her underneath the furniture, like, get down, get down. Yeah, and like I'm trying to like put her under the furniture and I'm getting under too. And I wait, and nothing happens. And everyone's like, what happened to you? I'm like, you didn't hear that? They're like, no. I'm like, there's an airplane. And everyone's like, no, there was none. I called the front desk. They're like, no airplanes around here. It's Atlantic City. There's beach. I'm like, okay, all right, thank you. But I was fucked up from that experience. It took me a long time to be able to take a bus to New York. Like years. We're talking about 15 years for me to take a bus, go into the tunnel, and not worry. This is gonna sound crazy, but until Trump became president, I didn't feel comfortable or secure. I feel a lot more secure now because he's a great president and he has secured our country.
Is he still our president?
He is, and hopefully he'll be our president for another 4 more years.
Because on the news, they said that Trump's going to be replaced.
He's not going to be replaced. The Democrats.
Telemundo.
Telemundo is a Democratic-led media news outlet. So, this is becoming a long video, but in conclusion,
No, listen to my story. No.
the Democrats are trying to impeach Trump because they're not going to win the election if they don't impeach him. So they're fabricating allegations against him. Although all of the eyewitnesses said, yeah, we didn't see anything. But the Democrats are like, no, but he still did it anyway. So therefore we must impeach him.
Must impeach.
We must impeach because that's the only way they can win the next election, hoping that there'll be stupid people out there who will hear this and think, oh yeah, he did all this stuff. Because unfortunately, this country has a lot of ignorant people who don't read and study things and then just base their decisions off of what they hear the news, and then they go vote. Please don't be that person when you get older.
Mommy? I'm gonna expose her. I'm gonna show him this video on the movie. I'm serious.
Mommy is hopefully learning not to do that. You know.
Hurry up, puppy. I need poop. And then.
Are you gonna tell the story?
Yeah.
All right. What's your story?
No, I need to poop.
Oh, that's your story. Okay.
No.
Cut.
What was that?
I thought you were gonna hit me with the broom. Oh. Bella's gonna tell me a story. I'm not sure what the story is. But I got a class starting in 19 minutes.
Yeah, puppy.
What is it, a puppet show? What are you doing?
Right?
Ready.
Ready?
Ready. What's your story, kid?
Okay, so babe, I'm telling you later.
Why?
Because.
I want it now. We got 18 minutes. Come on. Sit. You made me sit here. Sit. Tell me a story.
Alright, what do you want to hear?
What was the story you're going to tell me?
My puppet show.
About what?
Puppet show.
Yeah, right. What was the puppet show? Tell me the story, damn it.
I was teaching Puppy a dance. And he yelled at me.
I did not yell at her.
Yes,
I
he
did
did.
the dance.
No, he didn't. Ready? Let's show them the dance. Ready?
Ready.
Ready?
Yeah.
Show them how you do the wall. No, that's not how you do it.
That's what I remember.
It's like this. Whoa,
Whoa.
clap,
Clap.
slash.
Oh, slash. Then it's this.
Ready? Watch, and then you copy me, okay?
Alright. Whoa. Slap.
Look, watch, and then copy me, okay?
That's really long. Okay, let me hold on. Whoa. Clap. Slash. Slash. Uh-huh.
Wait, no. It's whoa, clap, slash, slash. Ooh. Wait. I have the song, watch.
It's a song.
Where did microphone? Ready? I don't know, like, fire. Ready? Ready? Crap, I messed up.
It's really fast.
I know. Ready?
Oh, okay.
Wait, no, you didn't even start it.
I'll restart it. Okay.
Okay, ready? Wait, no, I messed up.
I'm gonna do it slow.
What are you doing?
I'm doing it slow so you can see it. Look at these white girls do it.
This is the Spinner Girl version. Watch me. Watch me. No, play it.
Play it or pause it?
Play it! Okay,
Okay.
ready? Wait. Can you play it again? Okay. Win. I don't know. I studied.
Alright, let me try it. Hold it.
Okay, ready, puppy?
Alright. I gotta see it though. Alright. See, I can follow along.
Me, you can watch me. I do it better. Do it. Oh, I muted it.
I got it. Ready? Go.
I messed up. Can you start it? What's it?
My turn. These girls look weird, alright? Wait, I gotta see it though. No, ready? Ready, here we go. They really look weird though, like their facial expressions look.
Ready, Poppy? Ready? I'm gonna try copying it. Watch me! Watch me!
I'm sorry, but their faces are weird.
Ready?
Go. Now rewind.
Wait, no, I messed up.
Something went in my eye.
Wait, no. Do it.
Alright, tell me when you're ready. I'm gonna press
I'm
play.
ready. I'm ready.
Where in my eye?
Bruh.
Alright, ready?
Yeah.
1, 2. Oh! I like that. That was better than theirs.
I'm so like dancing.